Give thanks. Alright, okay, something new for today. Bring you massive value, as I would say. Getting back where I left off. Setting up the marketing first. For the Fiboprana human operating system. Essentially, I'm setting up this this marketing system first. It's going to guide me on how I set up the project. Nothing is set in stone 100%. Just starting with the foundation and go from there, see how it evolves. That's part of the journey. Is I learned a long time ago as a business owner that usually the things that I think the customers would want, usually that's not how it really plays out. So I let the data guide me, and it's not really until time goes by that the data guides me and customers start responding to something that I see what works, that my intuition starts to get a better idea of how to build off of that. But I think in the beginning I just got to go with the data, and I'm getting that data through this marketing dashboard. Right now, got some pretty good ideas for a good foundation. I think it's guiding me towards basically making this offer so that biometric scanners that people use, like the Aura Ring or the iWatch, or there's so many of these different products out here that most of them are scanning health issues, but a lot of them are not really scanning the way the mind and the body connect. So there's like the missing link, and there's a lot of different ways to do this. This is going to play out over time. I'm going to let the marketing guide. So basically, I'm going to see where I left off, and then I'm going to start building off from there. So, I always got to be aware of what I do and try something new and see what sticks. So, alright, getting back to this. Alright, I want to look at where I left off. And just give me a quick rundown of the last few tasks that I finished, and the next few tasks that are lined up, if any. Giving thanks for family, giving thanks for good food, and giving thanks for extra long sunlight, longest day of the year. And I was looking outside and I was like, man, it's still light out. When is that longest day of the year? And the people with me looked it up, and they were like, that's the 20th and the 21st. And I was like, no way, that's today. That would make sense. So, that's always something I like to see, is length of days, giving thanks. The summer weather. Our last few tasks, positioning V2. Can you create an artifact that lists what the next tasks are, and how they will most likely relate to the overall picture of the product, and make sure that that nothing is set in stone, nothing is going to be defined at this point. Everything's just all possibilities. So look at it from a perspective of like what these next tasks are and what kind of possibilities they might open up with the future of the project. And this would be an artifact that is HTML that I can just reference throughout the build, so I don't have to come back and ask you what's next. Feeling like this is a good way to start every new session, every new work session. Get this get this artifact set up so I know what I'm going to be doing and make the process easier. And put it on the stream. People can see. Working as I go. One thing I did not do is check it the stream quality. Hit go live. There we go. This is working right. All right. I got to watch the some of the World Cup yesterday for the first time since it started on TV, and I saw one goal, and the guy scored a goal against his own team. So yeah, I actually felt bad for him. I was like, man, like that's like. It's gotta be rough. Losing the game because you scored a goal against your own team. That's soccer. I like playing so I don't really like watching that sport, but I like to play it. And I did remember one thing that I was looking into. Like last time when it was setting up the resend, it was setting it wasn't able to connect with the API to actually set up the sequence right through resend. And it was talking about it had to do it through its own server, which I looked into more and I was like, this doesn't make sense. It seems like it should be able to set it up through resend, and I found out it does, so I'm gonna get that fixed from the start. So this resend is gonna be through this business Google account. Anthropic's updating its privacy policy. What's changing? It's like not much, just when they use like more apps that connect with Claude. Looks like they're still gonna be collecting data. Same way. Alright, got this up. Need to work on making it better visual. This is probably not really any use for charts or graphs on this one. All right. Okay, and one thing from last time with resend, you were saying that you could not get into resend with the API and set up the welcome sequence so it fires off through resend. I think you set it up so you send the messages yourself, which is not ideal. So I did some research, and you are totally capable of getting into resend through the API and setting up the entire welcome sequence through their, I believe it's automations feature. And the only thing I really have to do is enable it. So can you double check that I'm right on this and let me know how it's currently set up? And then once you inevitably find that this is something that you can do, let me know, and we can get this part done. Oh, this music too slow. Music is too slow for me getting started out. No. I understand. All right, I'm kind of confused. I think this should be like more simpler than it seems, but you're talking about keep copy in the repo, and you're also talking about hybrid, and both of those are like the same thing to me because basically it sounds like the copy should stay in the repo so that the repo knows what like the current copy is and you know how to get better over time. And it sounds like this is even something that I would want to save to a database eventually, like the progression of these email messages, because the offers are going to change over time. But anyways, I would think that like what it seems like two different options, number 1 and number 3 say, like I'm saying, keep the actual like copy in the repo, but also have it so it's through resend, so that resend is the platform that's actually sending that out. And if I understand this correctly, that's the way I'd want to do it, because you know resend's able to send that out for free automatically at the right times, keep track of everything better with the analytics, whereas like you know to do that through this project is not going to be as simple, and like other things too. But anyways, help me understand this. Sounds like I'm just a little bit confused about the difference between choice 1 and choice 3. Welcome to the chat, Jake. It is going well. How about you? Making an OS now? Yes, I would have to say in a way. Part of this business is going to be the human OS. So it's like merging tech and humanity. Making life better. Providing value, seeing somewhat of a gap in the market, and seeing a lot of possibilities, not just now, but where I think the future of this kind of technology is going. So, building a platform for everything to link up to and apply to. I just saw some really interesting news today. Essentially, Midjourney. How you doing, Jobby? Respect every time. Welcome to the chat. Doing all right. Hopefully you're doing good too. So at first I had to double check because I was reading about Midjourney and I was like, is this the same Midjourney that makes the AI images? So essentially Midjourney has built some kind of like sound camera where people, I mean, I kind of understand it, but it's like people stand in some like a tub almost filled with water, and it's got like all these like sensor cameras, and it plays sound like a radar, and the radar comes back and it gives you like a mapping of your body with like all your internal organs, everything like that. And kind of the main things what I understood about it is that with an MRI, the current way of doing this, it would take like an hour, but this camera only takes like maybe like a minute to do, and it has like a clearer picture of what's going on inside people's bodies. And I saw this and I was like, dude, Midjourney, like the AI image company is doing this, like that's pretty impressive. And I mean, this is just the beginning too. So if it's doing that now, like imagine these companies, these AI companies that start out as something as simple as just making like images for like a lot of people, mostly I think use it for marketing purposes. Now they're getting into health just like that. I'm seeing the health AI space being like something that I really want to follow and implement what I can into this business. Sure, do whatever you think you got to do to confirm it, although I've already seen this happen with my own eyes, so I know you can do it. But seems like you are not aware that you can do it yet, so do the research you got to do and let me know if there's any issues. I want you to help me understand cloning repos. So, first use case I think I got for this is, let's say I make a marketing operating system for a business and I want to clone that same marketing system for another business. However, I want to just clone like the way it works and not the way it's processing information and the information it processes. So it's like, say I've got one business that's about finance and another business that's more about health. Could I clone the marketing operating system repo and just basically like alter it so that it is applying the information to the new business instead of the old business? Help me understand this better. Javi's been hearing amazing things about a new AI, GLM 5.2. Cursor uses them. I use Cursor. I haven't used Cursor in a while, but I have used Cursor, and it's on my list of things to check out again. GLM 5, I have looked into GLM 5 a little bit, 5.2 I mean. Seems like the from what I understand about it, it's like just as good, if not better, as Opus, but it's cost much less to run. And most of the main task I'm really like researching when I'm not building in these businesses live on stream is setting up Hermes agents, setting up agents to automate things. And I'm hearing a lot about using GLM for the Hermes agent, switching between certain tasks, you know, with Opus and GLM. And it sounds like what I'd want to do is like start out doing tasks with more of a frontier model like Opus or GLM. From what I understand, GLM 5.2 is a frontier model. But anyways, it sounds like, you know, once I get it running correctly and once it's doing what I want it to do, then I can kind of lower the model so it's cheaper to run. And there's so much to this in regards to like, you know, when do I run an agent on the cloud in a Docker versus, you know, on a local machine. And there's a lot to this. It sounds like I'm going to have kind of a hybrid setup where some agents are running on a local machine or a set of local machines. Some of them are running on the cloud. But it's really, this is like the coolest thing that I'm learning about right now. And I'm seeing like, this is the highest priority thing that I think I could be learning, is getting these agents hooked up. And hopefully I will be doing that soon on live stream. I just got to get these, because, you know, right now I'm basically just focused on these marketing systems. The main task I'm working on, and getting these automated with the agents, and then moving on from there. So you watched an Apple engineer use it yesterday live for 4 hours. The AI with one prompt migrated his blogging site to a new version, and it did a crazy good job with the one prompt. That sounds cool. I need to look more. That's, I think, the next thing I'll look up when I'm done looking up this cloning stuff while Claude is cooking. I think he used skills called waves, and it just kept perfecting with the GLM. And again, you've never seen anything like this. Awesome. I'm gonna do some research on waves, GLM, and see what the benefits are to that. Sounds like this wave thing is kind of like a loop, but definitely super interested to figure this out. All right. That should delete these current automations that aren't doing anything. Okay, no automations yet. All right, awesome. Yes, proceed. I deleted all the test automations that didn't have anything in them. So now it says no automations yet. I'm guessing you can create the automation, but if you run into a problem with that, just let me know and I can create it. And from what I understand, you have the email copy on file and how many days in between each message to send. So go ahead and start wiring this up. Let me know if you have any questions. So okay, the way the terminology sounds like if I'm cloning something, say I'm picking a repo like a marketing repo that I want to clone. I want to clone the engine, but not the cargo. So like the engine is the way it works. The cargo would be like the information that is unique for the specific business. And what I want to be able to do is clone the engine without carrying over the cargo, or maybe this is what I gotta figure out. If the cargo automatically gets carried over and it just has to, like, I don't know, I guess I shouldn't even speculate, I can just learn. Whoa, this is interesting. Cloning. Like, is this the right software? Cloning is like set up and explained like DNA cloning. I mean, that's a cool analogy. Wow. This is right? Yeah, just like a biological vector or a structural mold can be copied and filled with entirely different ingredients, the code repository is just a shell waiting for a target payload. Welcome back to the chat. C Films, respect every time. Doing pretty good. Looking at the longest day of the year. Extra sunlight. Summer is here. Feeling good about that. Not sure how long I'm staying online. Got a late start today. Think usually I stay on depending on when I need a break and how the tasks play out. A lot of times I stop because I get to a new task that might take like more than an hour or two. But I don't really plan it too much. Try to get on for at least like 3 hours, I'm thinking. Welcome to the chat, Demon Wolf. Howl at the vibes. Here we go. Big up the vibes. Respect every time. It's a vibes thing. The vibes are guiding. Just work off of vibes and energy. And Claude too, that is right. The new project, so far so good. And I'm like kind of learning between like, do I clone the marketing repo for the last project or do I try building out a different marketing repo? And I think what I'm kind of trying to do here is build a slightly different marketing repo so I can see how different setups work out, but like clone maybe some of the features from the last repo and see if that's possible. But ultimately what I want to do is try out, you know, I got different projects, different marketing repos, and I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to see which ones work better and create a template that I can just, you know, all these business systems just apply to each different business as it comes along. Look into hyperframes. I actually was just doing that the other day. I have been using hyperframes. I'm not sure. I think I already posted a hyperframes video too, and I tried out most of the features. It is definitely good at saving time. Grok image. You're saying Grok image is good for video? But definitely got to try that. And essentially, another thing I'm testing is for Stackivate, the finance business. I'm going to do the marketing like as myself, like the face behind the brand. And with this human operating system, Fiboprana, I want to just create faceless marketing. So like, I'm not personally promoting the brand. I'm going to try to create the best marketing content I can, testing out a bunch of different tools. I already have a few in mind, but it looks like now I can try Grok as well. And I think that's the second good use case I've heard for Grok in the past couple days. Another good use case is for marketing. And from what I understand, like, okay, so basically like the API for X to do marketing and get analytics and do posting and stuff, X and TikTok are two of the most like expensive ones to get. But from what I understand, Grok is like already locked into X. So I can kind of bypass for a lot of use cases paying for the X API by just installing Grok as an agent in the particular project, because Grok can go in and look what's happening on X without having to get the actual X API, if I'm understanding this correctly. So I really need to just get my standard operating procedures set and hook up Hermes agents and try out different agents like Grok, Claude. I know for local it sounds like Olama, but I'm getting there. That's like the next step. I'm getting these, seeing the bigger picture of the business systems, like the basic stuff it can do, getting it set up with standard operating procedures, and then super excited to get these agents hooked up. Oh, so Grok does. I've never tried Grok, but it sounds like the API cost for Grok is relatively high. But I know the API for X is like $200 a month, so I'm guessing Grok is probably going to be cheaper than that. Okay, so basically, I'm understanding this better. It's interesting how cloning uses analogy for tech, just like it uses the DNA biological analogy, which makes sense now, and I totally see why they're doing that. And the main thing I'm wondering is like, okay, like, say I'm building 2 or 3 different marketing systems. I find the one that I think works best. What is the process of cloning a marketing system that already has all the data hooked up for a certain business and cloning it so it's just the system, just the engine? And hooking up the new data for the new business. So you're saying Grok Heavy will be the only way, but that's $200. So then you will have to review API cost, which you have not. 200 and 300. Wow. So it's like, they make it so it's like the same price. I'll definitely have to look into that. Sounds like what I heard maybe is true, that that's something Grok can do, but they did not mention the price being like pretty much the same thing as the API. This was like the research I did was kind of framing it like a workaround so that you didn't have to get that API, but if it costs the same price, then it's like you might as well just get the API. So there's Grok Heavy and Grok Super Heavy. And they also make good videos, and that is going to be a major part of this marketing project. So like, I think that's one of the main ways that this marketing dashboard will run a lot different from the face behind the brand marketing dashboard. Whereas that face behind the brand is like, you know, more like editing the videos I make, applying, like we were just talking about, applying hyperframes type features, whereas for this marketing system, this would be like a faceless marketing system. And really, I mean, they would both be good, because I mean, businesses could be set up either way, so having the template for both of them, I think, would be a good idea. And the videos have voice too. That is awesome. I watched like a marketing video for I was talking about how Midjourney is doing the body scans now. And the marketing video looked like pretty bad AI slop to me. And I'm like, okay, Midjourney, you guys should be having like really good quality marketing content, and especially if you're marketing like a medical system that's like has a potential of being like a multi-billion-dollar business. But also, I mean, I remember the Super Bowl, and like I was able to recognize like a decent amount of ads that were definitely made with AI, and they were looking really, really professional, that I think most people wouldn't even be able to pick up on that they were AI. So you're using Codex to do the prompts for Grok Image 1.5. Codex makes the image because Codex image gen is unbeatable for your use case. You take the image and give it to Grok 1.5. Oh, so I thought at first you were saying that you're just having Codex write the prompts, but you're having Codex make the images, and then you're giving the images to for video, I bet. So I think what you're saying is you're using Codex to make the images, and then you give those images to Grok, and then Grok can turn those images into videos, if I'm understanding this correctly. The prompt includes the action to do to the video and the voice, sound, and script. That is awesome. I could definitely got to take a note of that. How much have I gone? Like, how much is my net worth? You know, my net worth, I'm not going to talk about. I'm just going to talk about how much money I'm making on this particular business challenge. I feel like that doesn't matter. And it's not even about the money, it's about providing value. The money is just a way to track it, and the money is a way to scale up the businesses. So just ignore it. Pretend that I'm broke and I only have enough money just to run these businesses. And I will only keep updated with the actual money that I'm making from businesses that I'm building on this actual challenge. So Codex equals the image and the prompt. Okay. So you get the image from Codex, and then you have Codex make the prompt, and then you give them both to Grok and make the video out of it. Taking that note down right now. Video creation idea. Make a image prompt with Codex. Then have Codex make a prompt to give to Grok with the image to turn the image into a video. Spend like an hour or two updating and organizing Obsidian today. Alright, so let's see. The automation should be there now. Yeah, here we go. Awesome. Let's see. Alright, so this is what it just used. Claude used the API to go and set this up inside of Resend. It's like it's working right. We are billionaires. Yes, that is true. We already are. It's already. And just a matter of time before the reality catches up with our reality. And welcome to the chat. Apna time. Your name is Yash Gosai. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but respect either way. Which AI do you use? I use different AIs. Right now I'm using Claude Code. And you know, we were just talking about using Grok for making videos. I've used so many different AIs: HeyGen, 11 Labs, Codex, Gemini. Talking about GLM, trying out Kimmy, that's a new one. So many different AIs to try. So the prompt will include instructions for voice too. You can have the prompt manipulate the video in any way, shape, or form. You are the director even with the voice in the script. There we go. And I'm guessing too, then if that's the case, like I could use HeyGen avatars. Or maybe then that would really eliminate the need for a HeyGen subscription, because I could just create the faces, the avatars through Codex images, and then just have Grok turn that into an avatar. Maybe the cost, I don't know. That's something I'd have to look into. You have an agent for sound manager, an agent for script writing, and an agent for cast selecting for voice. And tone actor selecting. That helps with the prompting. And Apna Time is from India. Well, respect India. And let me know if you have any more questions or comments. Some of your comments, not really sure what you're trying to say, but that's okay. So when you're talking about Javi, when you're talking about you have agents for the sound manager and the script writing, are these like agents that you created? Like it's an agent that runs through like Claude or Codex, or are you talking about like an autonomous agent? Abna, you're asking me if I know who you are, and you're from India. I've never been to India. You're an AI engineer, AI Google. Sorry, Abna. If I do know who you are and I forgot you, I'm sorry, man, but I don't know. Like right now, off the top of my head, I don't know. Alright, so I gotta enable this email sequence. Just click start. It's enabled. There we go. I just enabled the email sequence on resend, so go ahead and run the test. Run it. We run things. We run the test. Test don't run we. Anything we do, have it done properly. Just learning as I go and stay in the flow though and staying consistent. I mean, you know, we gotta be billionaires, man, because for how early we are, for how early we still are to this whole game, and like how far we already are, and we're already like we're seeing where things are going, and we're already implementing like the new features like pretty much the day they come out. I mean, and it's like, I remember the first couple months I was like so overwhelmed by hearing of a new update like every week, and now when I hear the new update, like it makes me happy and I want to go try it out, and I want to like try the new feature and everything like that. Like just when I saw that mid-journey camera for the body scans, I was like, dude, I want to do that. Like, said there's like one, I think you'd have to go to the Bay Area. That's like the first one, and it's probably like $1,000 if I remember correctly to do this scan, but hey, why not? It'd be super awesome, super cool. So hey Abner, that's good to hear you're making $80 million, and hopefully we're all billionaires really soon. I know we already are. We already got the skills. We're already in the right place. Just a matter of time. So, you know, sounds like you are well on your way there. And definitely it sounds like in India, $80 million can get you a lot farther than it can where I'm at. So, you know, that's probably like translate to like American value, like you're already a billionaire basically. And Javi's got agents that are created and run through both Claude and Codex that are trained on your app. They're just to avoid you reprompting constantly, basically your hired engineers, if I will. And that's what I was thinking. It helps the loops. It's like you basically got these agents on a loop to do this. And I'm not sure about Codex, but I think the main restriction right now for the loops was like for Claude is like you can only run it for 3 days, and you have to manually like train it to get smarter over time. So it definitely sounds like that's a good thing to get it started, make sure it's working, and then switch it over to something like Hermes. And then even then, I bet you like within the next year there'll be like a better alternative to Hermes agent. So, do I know about Trip Banzel? No, that I've never heard of that. Meta offers $100 million. Do I know about it? Indian Institute of Technology. I feel like I've heard of Indian Institute of Technology. Definitely some cool people coming through on the chat letting me know about India and certain developer and engineer practices. But yeah, respect. That's high accomplishment to be. I didn't even know Google paid people $80 million a year. Maybe like the CEO, but hey, you must be really up there in the company then, huh? Meta offers $100 million. Interesting. Alright, so we got path that's proven end-to-end. Check that it came through like it's supposed to do. I feel like maybe it's not working because I already got that email. I'm not seeing that email. Actually, wait. Looks like it's under promotions. Yeah, there we go. No, I got it. Promotions is like the new spam junk email box that I never see. Alright, I got that email. It sent it to promotions, so I didn't see it in my regular like list of primary email. And I almost thought it wasn't there, but then I saw it in promotions, so everything looks good with that. And I'm also going to provide you with the address, the mailing address that needs to be on each email. I think last time I might have gave you the wrong address, so I'm going to list the correct address here. And if you need to update, go ahead and update it and add it to the emails. And you can keep that on file for anywhere else the business address needs to be applied. So looking back at the chat, you've solved almost 450 coding problems in 3 years. That's a very good accomplishment. And you're asking me, is it better or not? And I don't know what. You got to be more specific. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. What are you wondering if it's better or not? Oh yeah, that address. Which is going to be... That is why. Alright, so looking what I was doing, that's not right. Go. What is up, Persizzle? Why am I bouncing? Getting my energy up, you know. Because exercise is good for your health. Gotta keep my body moving. Keep the blood flowing. Keep my brain feeling fresh. Yes, it is. Give thanks for exercise every time. Give thanks for health and strength. So you know, it is a good thing. Cheers to that. When I have a marketing system that is fully active and loaded with real data, files, and transaction histories, separating the system from the data during a clone comes down to a clear 3-step migration process. Looking back at the chat, everything has been going all right, I would have to say. You know, I'm making progress. Doing what I enjoy doing, providing value. And summertime is here, longest day of the year. Feeling good about that. So I'd have to say everything's going good. And it seems like it's trending up towards 1 billion. I'll have to be updating the project before the challenge before I know it, from million to billion. Alright, looks like this is done. Check it out with the sequence, making sure it's still enabled. Yep, it's still enabled. Got in the correct metadata. There we go. Last time I didn't think it could do it. I did some research and I was like, no way. Got the API, you should be able to. And it was like, you're right. Alright. Sequence is live and correct. Live and fully active. How about you, Persizzle? How has everything been going in your reality? You know, I feel like we all got our own realities out here. And you know, it's good to collaborate with people and good to tap into everybody's reality once in a while. And you know, I think for the most part, everybody that's in this vibe coding game, this agentic orchestration game, we all are very good at creating our own reality and you know, running our lives and not letting external circumstances decide how we live in our realities. And that's like a major thing that, you know, I'm thankful for, is that the reality around me was not a reality that I wanted to be a part of. And I was like, man, I'm just like, I'd already done that like in the past, like created my own realities, but I'm like, I gotta go deeper. I just gotta I gotta create my own reality, because the reality I'm seeing. And like, I was talking to somebody on X, and I was just trying to help them, and they were complaining about AI, and like, you know, they were like, I just can't stand this and this about AI. And I'm like, I don't think you understand it. Like, I think if you understood it better, like, it would help you instead of being like something that you don't like. And they were just like, no, I'd rather deal with humans. AI is so annoying. And then they were like, they just started attacking me, calling me like, they're like, I think you might be AI too. And like I don't deal with people who are like AI robots. And I was just like, See, this is exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, AI does not do this like weird, like, I don't understand it, so I'm gonna like, you know, try to cast it out, and like that's a human thing. Like I'm trying to say, like humans have let me down so much in life. Humans do weird like judgment type, like, I mean, humans have done a lot of messed up things, and you know, they're all worried that AI is gonna like, you know, take over the world and do bad things, but everything I've seen from AI so far is it's like all like this a very smart human that doesn't like do weird emotional and play weird games and stuff. So oh. Anyways, back to what I was working on. We're looking back at the chat. Reality is just that, one reality. People can choose to live in it or not, but it's been good, no doubt. Glad to have the weekend off, but it's back to work and the grind tomorrow. There you go. Hopefully you got the reset, the refresh that you needed. I know I did. I know got out mountain biking yesterday, saw some family today. Enjoying the longer days, feeling like summer is almost here. So definitely still working though. Like I can't. It's harder for me to take breaks than it was in the past because I enjoy doing this stuff so much, and I just am really motivated to get to the next level. Never-ending learning, Kaizen. Okay, everything was sent over right. This is the cutover edit. Can you explain to me what is the cutover edit? I'm guessing, is that just for the address change? If not, let me know. If it is for the address change, then yes, do the cutover edit now. Oh. Yes, do it now. Welcome to the chat. Matagrammer, just one terminal. Saying I gotta run like 6 to get 1 million, right? Exactly. Exactly. No, I can run. I've multiple times ran over 100 agents just through the one terminal. It's it used to be, from what I understand, you needed like, you know, more terminals to do that, but now the way the tech is getting better, it's so much simpler just to run multiple agents out of one terminal. Sometimes I use multiple terminals, but it's pretty rare. I think the way I build is more like build the foundation, build one thing at a time, make sure it's like running right, and then build on top of it. I've learned from before trying to like build out a whole system ends up with more bugs. But it looks cool. I mean, it looks really cool to have, like, you know, 6 or 10 different terminals open, all running at the same time. But it's becoming way less necessary to, you can just do it with one now. So, Persizzle, you're saying I'm putting so much trust into AI without really inspecting anything. I pretty much inspect everything that I'm doing. I guess if you could be more specific, any kind of advice that you're offering, I'd be happy to take to see how I can get better. But basically what you're saying is difficult for me to understand in what ways you're talking about inspecting things. Because I'm doing a lot with, like, security and cleanup, running tests, everything like that. But, you know, there's always more I could be doing, I'm sure, that I just don't know of yet. So, then Matagrammer is saying, I'm right, but standalone sessions are easier to manage than subagents. Sometimes. I feel like the way that I'm getting these subagents hooked up now is pretty easy to understand them. And there's still probably, like, I could still probably be working more efficiently with multiple terminals in certain ways. But right now my highest priority is building autonomous agents. And I think once I get that, that's like the first thing on my list right now. Once I get that done, then I can go into more, I think it's called, like, Git trees. And basically, like, orchestrating multiple terminals. But definitely making progress. Definitely getting... I used to be doing, like, a lot of my planning and stuff on the LLMs and switching over, and now I'm understanding it much better. So I just got to keep getting better. And any suggestions you guys have, I would definitely take that as a note and do my best to put it in my workflow. Okay. Fix the www. The domain only works without www. Okay. So that, I think that should be through Vercel. And I'm guessing you're talking about Stackivate. I'm going to test that out real quick. I'm going to take that as a note as well. Check to make sure all my domains work when I type www before the domain name and not just typing in the domain name. The description mentions the www link, so that must be on Stackivate. Typically, people redirect to either www or the naked domain. I've seen that, and that is through Vercel that I need to be doing that, so that's good to know. Thank you. So I'm guessing if you try to click the link, I'm going to try that real quick. See, the link has the www. Okay. But it's just copy and pasting that www. Okay. Got the note down, so awesome. Commit and push. To main to deploy. Alright, so it looks like everything is done. I just want you to do a second check because I know some things I forgot to ask you about were to make sure that the new lead magnet is in and it sends with the, from what I understand, it should be sending with emails when people sign up. So just do like a quick scan to make sure everything that's supposed to be set up throughout this whole like email campaign part of this project is good for now. And then we can move on to another part of this project. So Matagrammer is asking if I have any testable code in the project or if it is all third parties. I am not 100%. That is a good thing for me to learn more about. I have tests. So like I have it running so that when I make... Actually, this project is brand new, so I don't have tests created yet on this one, but my main project that I just finished the foundation for, that Stackivate, I have it run tests pretty much every time I build something new. So maybe you're talking about something different, but as soon as I'm done reading this research about cloning, I'm going to look into that so I can give you a better answer. Commit and push the audit script, and then I'll let you know what I want to work on next. You are recommending to start the marketing research module next, and I'm not exactly sure what you mean by marketing research module, but that sounds very similar to what I was thinking. I was thinking set up something for marketing research. I've done something similar before on another marketing project, but I want to try a slight variation to see what works better. So on the other one, I used an API from a program called EXA, and it was basically like a web scraper, so it could go search the web to do the research. From what I understand, that gave me better research than what you could get just looking at the internet, and it also was able to get on Reddit, as I was having a difficult time getting the API access from Reddit. So let me know, what are your ideas based on what you see so far in this project, how to set up this marketing research, and what the main tasks or parameters that you think would make the most sense for this project so far. You know, keep in mind that I'm still like really doing a discovery. Like, everything we found out is good and is going in the right direction, but this project needs to stay flexible so it can adapt to what people actually want and what's working. So we'll just keep trying things, and then we'll get somewhere over time. Okay, so I think I'm understanding a ton of this better. The main thing I'm still not understanding 100% is if I have a repo, a marketing repo, that is full of data, and the way it runs is based on a particular business. So essentially I clone that repo. It doesn't bring over the data from the like Superbase database. But what about like just the way it operates in regards to some things being specific to the business that I copied the repo from? Is that something where I can just explain to AI like, hey, I copied this repo from this other business for the marketing system. I want you to copy that repo, but just basically don't copy anything that is specific to that old business. And then all I have to do is just update the database with the new copied repo and update the instructions so that it is particular to the new business. Am I understanding this correctly? I'm understanding it 100%. There we go. Wow, this is so much easier than I would have thought. Like, that's so awesome every time. I'm like, man, this sounds like it might be like a big project. But that's so crazy how like a lot of times the projects I think are going to be like super big and super difficult end up being super easy. And it's usually the things that I think are going to be super easy that just for some reason end up being like difficult. But it's how I learn the most. Make a toast. Welcome back to the chat, Christian Toter. Good morning. It's evening where I'm at, but either way, it's a good time of day. Good time of day on the longest day of the year. Or at least, if you're on the northern hemisphere. But hopefully you're doing good. And welcome back to the chat. So I'm thinking that even though I've used Extra before, I'm going to go with your recommendation. Take some time to reconsider the provider, or even if it's multiple providers that you think would work better. Just because Extra worked better on the other project doesn't necessarily mean it'll work better on this project. But let me know what you think. Do a, whatever process you need to do to research what would work best. And let me know. And once I know, then it sounds like just create the placeholders in the .env file, and I will add the API keys and let you know after those are added, so we don't have to do multiple extra steps, can just add the keys from the start. I think I should take your recommendation for AI Gateway plus flat files, #1. But also, it sounds like this is something that I would want to be migrating over to a backend database after it's working the way I want it to work. So keep that in mind, that that I want to set up a synthesis plus storage approach that can be migrated to a backend database like Supabase. So good to hear everything is good in the chat, and you took a short break from coding. So what am I cooking up? Cooking up the marketing system for the new business, Fiboprana, which is basically like a human operating system. And there's still a lot more to go with where the business is going to be doing exactly. But I'm doing the marketing system first this time. And then that's going to basically guide me on how I'm creating the product. I've had this idea for a while, and I've already started doing some marketing in the past with it. But I wasn't really clearly seeing where it was going to what the final product was actually going to be. I tried a few things already, so I have some data to use, but I think one thing I've gotten down for certain is I'm not sure exactly what parameters of data it's going to collect, but it's going to be like a link between how most people track their health, like their vital records through like smartwatches and smart rings, but there's a very small market that looks at like the effects of things like meditation, how the brain and the body are linked together. Like everybody's just tracking their body. Everybody's just tracking these, like, you know, health records. And I believe there's a massive connection between the brain, the mind, and the body. I wouldn't even say brain, I would say mind. Because mind also can be like, you know, gut feeling. Like the mind isn't just in the brain. Spinal stuff, like there's a lot to it. And this is like ancient, this is nothing new. Like people have understood this for thousands of years. And I think today, in these modern times, a lot of people are focusing on a very small picture because a lot of these things aren't like medically measured through like through current instruments, although they have been. And like I know they did tests where they tested like some expert meditators and tested their brain function and their brain waves, and they found things in these people that they haven't seen with like normal people's brains. So there's definitely some studies, but I feel like that research has a long way to go, even though people have understood this for thousands of years. It just hasn't been maybe scientifically proven is the best way to put it. And I think that that's one of the motivations I have towards this, is helping that technology advance in that way. And I think that's going to be a major part of the future where tech is going, that is going to open a lot of doors in this area. I got to get these elevator pitches better for these businesses though, because I'm just kind of like freestyling it right now, and feel like I'm saying too much, but that is the basics. And welcome back to the chat. Is Islamic Vibes. Respect every time. Hope you're doing good. And any questions or comments, feel free. That's awesome. It's good to hear that you're getting the idea. I feel like I was just kind of rambling for a little bit, and I'm not sure if it really stuck, but that's good to hear. I just need to get work on an elevator pitch so I can get that idea out clearer and quicker. Okay, so I've got the Exa and Tavali keys in. I'm not sure how to find that AI gateway key. I understand it's in Vercel, but I'm not sure where in Vercel to find it. Go ahead and make sure that the 2 keys I put in are working correctly. Because I also got like a piece of code from Exa that I was told I need to give to you. I'm not sure if that's necessary, so if you need it, let me know. And then give me instructions on how to find the correct API key for the AI gateway. So, looking at the chat, you think for those types of research, it's better to use the web interface so it can do proper search externally. The web interface, I think, I'm gonna ask the project. I think maybe, are you talking about like using the desktop app? Not really sure what, oh, okay. I will ask Claude about that. And if I can just use some kind of CLI instead of having to switch the project in the desktop app, that would be better. So I'll ask it specifically if there is a CLI to use web interface. If I use Claude or tools like those, they use mostly the internal knowledge of the model, but the normal chat, web chat, it scrapes from other sources and is way better for things like research on how to use a third-party service tool. Okay. All right. I'm gonna figure this out. All right, so before you start building anything, I have a few questions, things that I don't understand 100%. Basically, you're saying I don't need to get that API key from Vercel. That I could just, instead, I could get API key through Anthropic. But, I mean, I would probably get that later when I actually wire up the dashboard, when this is working correctly. But for now, I mean, can't you just run the synthesis through this project and just use my subscription? And also, somebody mentioned to me that for this type of research, it's better to use the web interface. And there might be some kind of CLI I can use. Like doing it through here is using mostly the internal knowledge of the model, but the normal web chat, it scrapes from other sources and is way better for things like research on how to use a third-party service tool. So, help me understand. What do you think about this recommendation that I just got? And also help me understand what I didn't understand about the AI Gateway API. Yes, this sounds good to me. Let's go with your plan. Let me know if you have any more questions for me on how to get the right data. So basically, looking at the chat, I know you were saying that better to use web interface, but what Claude was telling me is that it can do the same thing through the terminal that it could do in the browser or in the desktop app. And it's kind of saying too that some of the process is going to be handled by Exa. So I went with that recommendation. Maybe there's something I'm still not understanding, but let me know if you see something that that I don't get, that I could get better results if I used a different method that even Claude doesn't understand. Because I know Claude definitely makes mistakes. As I get better at this, I start to catch up Claude more and more. Like, that was the first thing I had to do when I started last time. It was telling me that it couldn't directly access resend and hook things up the right way. And I was like, that didn't make sense. So after the stream, I did some research, and sure enough, it could definitely do that. So starting to get better at seeing where Claude is, or all AI kind of makes mistakes from time to time. So looking back at the chat, what I'm building is kind of close with what you said. Exa is browser search for AI. Claude has a similar system built in, but on the Claude Code, something has a smaller limit on search sources per request, since it's mostly focused on the coding part. So I think you mean the search sources per request coming through Claude. Like if I ask Claude to do the search, there's a limit on how many sources it's going to search for. Whereas like when I hook it up with like Exa has way more sources that it can do. And it sounds like also, I think what you're saying is that limit is not as small if I use Claude in like the web browser. because it's not coding in the web browser, so it has more room to do more. Awesome. Thank you for that. I did not understand that, and now that makes way more sense, because I would want to be definitely doing it through the project, doing the research, because then it can store the results and then get better over time. And then, just like everything I do, I want to get the system down, create an SOP, and then hand it off to an AI agent once it's working how I want it to work. And then from what I understand, I just need to give it parameters so they can measure like a specific, you know, for marketing, whether it's like a click-through rate or whatever the task would be. I want to give it a metric that it can measure to actually get better. Otherwise, it would just be doing the same thing that Claude could be doing with like a loop. And then I'd have to manually be running the loop, but definitely seems to me like Claude is moving in the direction of doing everything a Hermes agent can do. Something tells me I'm gonna get like everything set up in Hermes agent, and then there's gonna be like an easier method that comes out, but who knows? I'm still super excited to set that up on the first task. So that's interesting. It looks like it's saying that Tavali is getting access to Reddit, but Exa is not. Which is strange, because I used Exa on another marketing project and it had access to Reddit fine. Okay, so you think that would probably depend on the IP that is used for the request, if it's blacklisted or not. So I could have used Exa before and it would have possibly used a different IP address than Exa in this session, and maybe the IP address they're using in this session is blacklisted. And I like having the two different tools, so it's like, then I can use Tavali just for the Reddit stuff and Exa just for the broader web stuff, because they both have free tier limits, so... So you built your own solution kind of like this, and you have Exa as like a backup. If everything else fails, then it relies on Exa. That is good to know, because I have a feeling that I will be creating... This will be a main part of like the overall marketing system that I build. And I did it a little bit differently with the previous marketing system project. But I think the main thing is having multiple tools to do the job. The other one just used Exa, and now I'm seeing how it makes way more sense to have multiple tools, and then you can just have like Exa be the backup. commit and push the research module plus this findings doc. And before we go on to what we're going to do next, I want to plan this out. So basically, like, this is one kind of like method of research that I should be doing. How often do you recommend I do this? Like once a week? Also, there's other things that I also want to research. So I think I don't know about the time frame, if it should also be like once a week or whatever, but I want to see like the new, do a scan to see what are the new releases for tech that would have anything to do with this, like health and tech together. Anything that's like especially measuring tech. And also, like, there's still a long way to go for this. The only thing I think I've really kind of like locked down from this research so far that I've done with this app, or this project I'm creating for this business, is that I should have some kind of element that can be tracked through like an Apple Watch or an Oura Ring or one of those products, but that doesn't necessarily have to be tracked through that. Like if a person doesn't have one of those tools, they could essentially just, still enter their data into the probably like the web app that would go for this business, and it would store it for them. That would just be a bonus if they had one of those wearables. So other than that, let's get an overall kind of like blueprint on how all the research should be. And I assume it's probably going to change over time. But just for right now, let me know what you think based on what I said and any other areas you can think to do research for. And if I didn't mention that I also want to do different social media channels to see what's, trending there, add that into, even though I know that some of the tools we already have might not work and I would have to get different tools. Let's just get an overall view of like what the current strategy will be for doing all the different research on what time frames. So I can look into Brave. It is good too, their API for search. Awesome. I'm going to ask Claude about that when it is done. Cooking or leavening. I don't know what that means. Sounds like something with bread. I guess like doing something with the bread dough, maybe. I don't know. Let's see, there's something else that I was going to look up too. Oh yeah, testable code versus third parties. Okay, I have some more new questions from the chat. So, someone was saying that basically they see the way I'm working and that I trust AI way too much with what it's creating. And I'm not really sure what they're saying. Basically, like, I try to build one feature at a time and then I test it to make sure it's working. Also, I'll do, like, bug hunts and security steps and just having Claude, like, recheck everything, stuff like that. But I asked them to, be more specific, and they were asking me if I have any testable code in this project or if it's all third parties. So I didn't really understand that part. Can you help me understand better about everything that I'm confused with based off of what I just told you, and give me any advice or anything else that might help? All right. I do want you to save this as a research strategy MD. For what to build next, we can go with your recommended order. And after that is done, then I think we'll have a much better idea of how to create content, or the best content to create and start creating. Although that's just going to be analytics over time to really know what's working. I want to make sure that all the data that we're getting from doing these processes can be applied to the marketing. And I don't know if there's some kind of system that, can remind me that it's time to run a certain different scans. Let me know what you think about that. Otherwise, if you have any more questions for me, let me know. Also, I just remembered I wanted to do a competitor search as well. I'm not sure if you brought that up, but let me know when you're ready to do that part and we can get into how that's going to work. But for right now, go ahead and build the tech scan. That looks like a good foundation, and we can always make it better over time. Yeah. All right. Definitely it's weird because I'm like making multiple systems and it's like, okay, I could have just cloned the first one, but with each one I'm learning from the mistakes of the last one, and I can tell they're getting better setting up each new one. And I'm also being able to tell that like it's not a one size fits all. It depends on the project, and I just got to like figure out this marketing system, get the agents running on it, and make something that's clonable, and understand how the different features would work better for different projects. All right, so I am already doing tests and stuff. So I think you're right. Like, I just didn't understand what the person was asking, and I'm already doing this stuff. There's probably more I could do, but I can come back to this later. Right now, I want to understand more about cloning. So from what I understand, like, people are telling me there's already like marketing project repos that are set up that I could just clone. I want to create my own custom for each business because I understand better that, like, you know, all businesses are different, but I think it would help to check out any available, like, you know, marketing dashboard repos just for reference to see how they're setting things up, and it will kind of like give me inspiration on how to make my own projects better. I don't want to just blindly copy something that already exists. I want to build out things myself and see how they work and be able to like have a very good understanding so that I can, you know, create something that's clonable and understand how to adapt it to each new project. So help me understand, like, where can I get inspiration based on like any kind of like repos that are available publicly, or anything else you could think of that would help me, you know, understand how to build what I'm trying to build even better. This right now being a marketing system. Welcome to the chat, Deep Web Impact. Yes, I'm vibe coding a whole operating system and a whole business. The operating system is just a part of the business. So right now I am vibe coding a marketing system that is basically helping me to create the right features for this operating system, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's all about the systems. I really enjoy building the actual, you know, the business and the apps, or the apps that would, you know, go with the business. But my background is more in business, and I've, you know, been doing business processes for a long time, so I have a really good understanding of how to automate these business processes and vibe code ways to do it autonomously, which is the goal. So what am I making the operating system with? I think I understand what you want to know, and this right here is next.js for this this marketing system. I'm not sure exactly what I will make the actual like app, the health operating system, or the human operating system, this Fiboprana app. I'm guessing it's probably going to be next.js, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't started the planning for that yet. It's really going to depend on, I think, the main features that I want to build with the app to get started. So if that didn't answer your question, just let me know. let's set up the competitor's watch job scan next. And another thing I wanted to mention is not only should all this data be going into create better marketing content, but it also should be going into understanding what features to build for the actual app itself. And you know, there's a lot of different features I could have on the app. I think we just need to start super basic at just, you know, getting this information from these research jobs and then synthesizing that information specifically for finding features to build for the app and for marketing. And those things should like go together too. Like, you know, whatever I'm building for a feature, like I should be marketing those features, if that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, go ahead and get started with the competitor watch job. Welcome to the chat. Stop using AI. That is a very good name. Have we hit the million yet? Nope. Nope, neither the billion. It'll be million first and then billion will come soon after. But just getting started. Getting started on this journey. Once I start generating income, basically I've only brought in like, you know, maybe 2 subscriptions that were from people that I knew and myself just testing it. So I didn't record those, but I will definitely keep everything updated. I've already built in a feature into the personal brand marketing system to track the income and keep that up to date. So you're wondering what I mean by human operating system. So essentially, an operating system that helps humans understand how to optimize, you know, health and mind. And everything right now seems to be all about like health and like, you know, metrics like HRV, you know, heart rate, stuff like that, how you're sleeping. But this is more about like understanding how the big picture works. And, you know, this goes back to like the stuff I enjoy studying is like the ancient lineages of yogis and meditators and people who have practiced like natural methods, people who have understood this over many thousands of years. So, you know, once people have a better understanding of, you know, how their mind and their body are aligned, I think this is something that can be tracked with technology in modern days that has never been able to before, at least with technology. You know, like I said, people have been doing this stuff like practicing meditation and different practices to master their minds, and they've understood that, you know, that is highly correlated to their actual health. But there's no way to like scientifically track this stuff. A lot of people really don't understand what is possible. And I think now that the technology is updated, this is like now a real possibility. So, you know, not 100% sure where this business is going exactly. It's going to kind of play out how it plays out. That's all part of like one of the things I like about business is like, you know, nothing is like certain. You just got to kind of like figure it out as you go and be able to reposition when it is necessary and try new things and see how they work. So I'm really excited to see, you know, how this evolves, just like the other business too, and the other businesses I'll build after this. So this one though I've had in my mind for a while. Like I wanted to do something like this for a while, and now I'm seeing all the advances in tech. Like just today I was reading about how Midjourney, if you know Midjourney, it's an AI company that just basically does generates images. So now they have a machine where it can generate images of the human body like better than an MRI, and quicker. So like I saw some of the pictures of how they're like scanning a person's body, and it's showing like a 3D kind of like image of like, you know, all their internal organs and like everything's looking inside, and it seemed to me to be much clearer than like, you know, I've never gotten an MRI myself, but I've seen like pictures of results, and this just looked like way clearer, and it was way quicker. Like I think with AI, this technology for health is going to bring so many new advancements, and I want to be a part of this. I want to be like on the forefront of it, only using it more for, I think, bringing back ancient practices that people have been using for thousands of years that have kind of been, you know, not really respected to the extent I think they should be, because there's been no like modern way to track these things. But I could go on and on. I think there's a huge opportunity here, and I think the best way for me to kind of classify right now would just be to call it like a human operating system, basically. Yes, something like a smartwatch operating system. And also people are using like rings and like other type of things. But I don't want this to be necessarily dependent on that either. But that is part of it. So by operating system, do I mean a website or an actual like operating system for a microcomputer? It would be a website to start out, but I think it would probably evolve into something like an operating system for a microcomputer in a way. And kind of the way I was looking at it was like an operating system for the body as a metaphor for a computer, if that makes sense. Body and consciousness. So you're making a meditation and fitness focused what? Is it an app or an operating system like for an actual computer? So basically, I think I just explained that. Not exactly sure where you're not understanding it, but I see what you're saying. Those are very different projects. Oh, it's okay. That's what I was thinking. You just like repeated it, but you understood what I was saying. So I get it. Those are different projects, and I think the best way to explain this is like I don't really know exactly how this is gonna play out, but that's kind of like my vision right now. And I think it's very possible that it could go more in the direction of an operating system for an actual computer. Like if the computer was just meant for tracking people and helping people optimize themselves, I guess. Let's see. Looks like I've pretty much done the main two things I wanted to do today. The third being creating the content. I think that's going to be a longer task, and I got a late start today. So I would have to say that's going to be it for today. Hopefully you got a lot of value off of what I had to say and do. So until I come through with something new, hopefully respect every time, give thanks. You know, it's all about the journey and providing value. So that is it. I'm out, without a doubt.